Let's talk about your wealth potential. And today I'd like to share with you an idea that I wrote about in Poverty Proof: 50 Ways to Train Your Brain for Wealth. And the idea in a nutshell is this: costs represent foregone opportunities. Let me unpack what I mean by that. When we go out into the world, walk into a store and buy ourselves a trinket, we tend to look at the cost of the thing in isolation, and we make the mistake of viewing it as an amount of money. If you change your mindset on this one, it opens up the entire universe to you. When you see that price tag, I'd like you to try this. Instead of viewing it as an amount of money, view it as a number of working hours out of your life. Because that's what's actually going on there. If you're paying a large amount of money for some item, some trinket, something you don't particularly need, it is not money that you are swapping for that thing. It is hours spent working. How much do you love hours spent working? Are you willing to swap that time for that item? Because that, in effect, is what you're doing. It is not an amount of money, it's an amount of time spent working. Now, it gets worse than that. If you're spending on debt, what you're doing is saying, I hereby commit to a number of hours, or days, or weeks, or even months of work in the future that I will now have to do because I want that thing. Is that starting to feel a little bit like it might not be worth it? Now it goes one further. Imagine that you are building your own business, you're building your own brand, you are making your own life story. Now the situation changes once again. You are not just committing yourself to future hours of work, you are actually losing hours of opportunity. So that's why we use the phrase that a cost is not measured in money, it is measured in foregone opportunity. The things you could have done with that time and that productivity. Instead, they are now tied to and invested in the trinket that you have, and they will have to be repaid with time spent working. Once you start to see it that way, the universe opens up to you and it becomes a whole different ballgame. You no longer fall for the idea of only so much per month, because you realize that those are days spent working in the future that will represent a lack of opportunity to do things you really want to do. Every cost is a foregone opportunity. Every trinket that you buy that you don't need is a number of hours, days, weeks, months, or even years spent working in order to repay that trinket. What would you like your life to be instead? Do you genuinely want to commit yourself to indentured servitude to pay back that moment? Or could you use that time to build your life, your business, your brand? You do not have to forego those opportunities. You can have them back. Deny the thing, regain the hours, turn your life into what you want it to be.